From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Right now in the Afternoon Edition, new concerns about California Senator Dianne Feinstein's health. Good afternoon, I'm Ryan Yamamoto. Well, there are renewed calls among some for Feinstein to resign. The 89-year-old Democrat recently returned to Capitol Hill in a wheelchair after a nearly 3-month absence due to a bout of shingles. Now her office confirms that she's dealing with some serious complications. Nicole Killian reports.
California Senator Dianne Feinstein came back to the Capitol last week to a standing ovation.
I want to welcome back our colleague, Senator Dianne Feinstein.
Mrs. Feinstein. Mrs. Feinstein, aye.
After battling shingles for nearly 3 months, a spokesperson for the 89-year-old Democrat confirmed Thursday she suffered from additional complications, including a rare neurological disorder called Ramsay-Hunt syndrome and encephalitis, or inflammation of the brain.
How is your recovery going, Senator?
Earlier this week, the senator faced renewed scrutiny over her health after a Los Angeles Times reporter asked her about her return to the Senate.
I haven't been going. I've been working.
You've been working from home is what you're saying?
No, I've been here.
I think she should step down.
California Congressman Ro Khanna is one of several lawmakers demanding Feinstein's resignation.
She's representing 40 million people in California. We need someone who's going to be on top of the job.
Feinstein holds a seat on the powerful Senate Judiciary Committee where Democrats now have a 1-vote advantage over Republicans. So missing 1 vote leaves Democrats short of getting President Biden's judicial nominees through.
What kind of accommodations do you have to make?
Well, we schedule things that work for her to make sure that she's able to attend physically.
I was mayor of San Francisco for 9 years.
As the longest-serving female senator, the 5-term legislator announced in February that she would not seek re-election next year. Congresswoman Katie Porter is running for her seat.
Any concerns about her ability to serve out her full term?
I think it's very, very clear that it's time for a change in California. That's why I declared to run.
And Congressman Adam Schiff, backed by Nancy Pelosi, is also running for Feinstein's seat. If Feinstein resigns, Governor Gavin Newsom has promised to appoint a black woman to serve out the term. That's why some are questioning the close relationship Feinstein has with Pelosi's eldest daughter, who has been assisting her in Washington. The former speaker has defended Feinstein's decision to stay, and a source tells CBS News any insinuation of a political agenda is ridiculous. We're looking out live to Capitol Hill, where talks to raise the debt ceiling have hit a snag. The top negotiator for the House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, says it's time to press pause. Talking to reporters after his latest hour-long negotiation with Democrats, McCarthy said they're just not productive at this point, adding it's unclear when those talks will resume. And some progressive Democrats, meanwhile, are urging President Joe Biden to invoke the 14th Amendment, which forbids the U.S. from defaulting on its debt. The House Freedom Caucus now calling on the Senate to pass the Limit Save Grow Act that raises the limit to $1.5 trillion, but includes sizable cuts to some domestic programs.
Stop. You said that there's a pause. What's going on?
Well, we've got to get movement by the White House, and we don't have any movement yet. So, yeah, we got to pause.
What's holding
up? The tone seemed really optimistic yesterday. Is it? Yeah, I mean, yesterday
I really felt we were at the location where I could see the path. The White House is just, look, we can't be spending more money next year. We have to spend less than we spent the year before. It's pretty easy.
The deadline to reach an agreement is June 1st. President Biden shortened his trip to Asia in order to get back to Washington ahead of that deadline. And most Americans say they want spending cuts along with the debt deal. And an AP poll showed that 6 in 10 adults say they want any increase in the debt limit to be paired with terms to reduce the federal budget deficit. Right now, a majority of Americans also disapprove of how the president and congressional negotiators are handling this. And stocks rose yesterday on the thought that a deal was close. Now, well, look at they're down, trending downward about 100 points. And turning to the 2024 presidential election, South Carolina Republican Senator Tim Scott has entered the race. Scott is the Senate's only black Republican. He's expected to make a formal announcement on Monday. And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is also expected to toss his hat into the ring very soon. 3 sources familiar with the campaign tell CBS News he will make that announcement sometime next week. And DeSantis has also been in the headlines for his very public fight with Disney. Governor Gavin Newsom says Disney scrapping a $1 billion project in Florida is a big win for California. The campus was expected to add 2,000 jobs to Orlando's local economy, many of which are set to be relocated from California. Disney and DeSantis have been in a public fight ever since Disney spoke out against the state's so-called Don't Say Gay bill. And DeSantis also signed a bill targeting transgender rights, which included language restricting drag shows. And while bills banning drag performances are popping up all around the country, San Francisco just made a big statement. The city appointed the first drag laureate in the country. Jose Martinez introduces us to a longtime performer who's eager to define a new role as ambassador for the drag queen community.
It was definitely an exciting day here at the LGBT Center as a group of residents gathered to celebrate Darcy Drollinger's appointment as the San Francisco's first drag laureate. They say this sends a message of inclusion and acceptance. Excitement fills the air here at the San Francisco LGBT Center as news spreads about the appointment of Darcy Drollinger as San Francisco's groundbreaking drag laureate.
But I'm also so grateful to be the very first drag laureate of San Francisco and the very first drag laureate ever.
Darcy is already a vocal advocate in the community as the owner of Oasis, a popular LGBTQ nightclub and cabaret in the south of Market neighborhood. She also started the nonprofit Oasis Art, supporting the work of queer artists in the Bay Area.
The pandemic hit, and then all of a sudden everything disappeared. And that's when we had to think outside the box. And that's when Meals on Heels was formed. That's when we created the streaming site so we could entertain people, so we could be that sparkle during that very, very dark time. And we could also employ the drag community who suddenly didn't have jobs.
The position has a duration of 2 years and includes a $55,000 stipend. It was established following a 2020 report by the LGBTQ+ Cultural Heritage Task Force as part of San Francisco's LGBTQ+ Cultural Heritage Strategy, a series of initiatives aimed at preserving the city's queer community. Mayor London Breed's decision to appoint Darcy carries significant weight, especially in light of the recent challenges faced by the transgender community across the country.
Darcy is incredible, and it's also really wonderful that San Francisco is celebrating drag queens right now as drag across the country is being attacked.
Honey Mahogany, an activist, politician, and social worker, tells me she hopes that Darcy's appointment can serve as an example for other cities and states.
We're seeing drag bans, drag queens being banned from performing in public. It's quite a scary thing because we also know that those drag bans are not only hurting drag queens, but some of them were written so broadly that they could impact trans people or gender nonconforming people as they're, going about their daily life.
That's why Darcy says she will champion drag as an art form, foster cultural dialogue, and amplify the unique perspective of the LGBTQ+ community.